Yo, what's up? It's your boy Sino here and Buddy Boy. It's been that kind of day. Literally has been that kind of a day where it is so much going on. Yes, it has been that crazy. Don't forget, if you get here, hit the like button right away so they can know to share the video. You're going to hear Joe Budden explain himself as Rory and Mal made it very clear that the contract they have is very different from the one that's been presented to the rest of the world. What's up, J-Rock? So we're just waiting for people to get their announcements so that we can start moving forward and going down that direction. Right. This is Joe Budden, not Joe Biden. I don't know why people keep making that mistake. But yeah, this is about that. I do have an Olivia Dope video coming out. So just wait. It's right now, it's loading up. That is already taking place. Um, in many instances, we were surprised by some of the things Joe said today because you can tell he was pretty disturbed about what happened when he saw that Rory and Mal video, and I knew that video would hit a nerve. What do you mean? What happened to my Instagram? What's wrong with my IG? I'm barely on there, but shit, my IG. Let me go over there and check it out. I mean, I don't understand. What are you asking me? Yeah, we have the Olivia video coming out. But what's up? Yeah, I didn't understand that. To me, it was pretty strange. but we will address that as well. Joe says some very interesting things. I'm just giving people time enough to get in here, and we finna get into it, so everyone can grab a hold, because this is yeah, it was quite interesting, wasn't it? Joe feelings was hurt. So the reason why Joe feelings was hurt is a very simple reason. It's very simple. He knows without a shadow of a doubt everything that's going on, but he's using misdirection and tried to do it again today. He can't help himself. Joe cannot help himself. He continuously does the same process over and over again. Let me see if you guys can hear Joe. Joe claims he was going broke on Spotify, just trying to keep up with expenses. That I believe. But let's listen to him. So here we go. This is your boy, Joe. Come on, Joe.
Come on, let's talk.
Let's talk, Joe.
I might as well light a cigarette and talk.
Light a cigarette and talk.
Let's go through it, for all business owners and creators out there. If I give you $1 million, you pay taxes on it?
Of course I gotta pay taxes on it.
Just put a 1 or a 2 in the comments. Come on, let's go through it together like a family. You heard me? Nobody answering. Now everybody's silent. Now nobody's talking.
Yes.
Now nobody happy. I mean, what happened? Where we at? I thought we was talking. I thought we was kicking it. Now everybody's quiet. If I give you $1 million, are you paying taxes on it?
Absolutely.
Business owner, you paying taxes on it?
Absolutely.
Hit 1 for yes, hit 2 for no. Come on, get to it. Get to it.
Absolutely.
They don't want to talk no more. Now nobody want to talk. Don't worry about it. That's what I mean about you niggas.
Strictly.
Okay. Here we go. You're going to pay the taxes. That's what, 700 grand? You left with about 700 grand? Yes?
Yeah, it depends.
Because my brother sounded like he was offended when I said get a calculator. But what I meant is we can all do the math together on what $1 million looks like. You're going to get $1 million, you're going to pay the taxes. That's going to leave you with roughly 700 grand maybe. You have a lawyer? Well, actually, before we get to a lawyer, do you have a manager or anybody that's handling this business that's entitled to a percentage? Come on, let's go through it. It's Sunday. Let's do it. Don't say no, Joe. Don't say gaslight, Joe. This is basic math and basic shit for entrepreneurs out there that need to know this information. We're not saying anything angry or hurtful. Everybody's in a good mood. Retainer fees, yeah, cool. So you got your lawyer fees, right? You got your management fees, right? You got some more fees as a business owner. But let me see. You got your accounting fees. You got your insurance, right? You got your information money, right? Your expenses. Where do you think you at now after all this? Come on, podcasters and entrepreneurs and living room executives. Let's do it together like a family. Where do you think you're at now from your $1 million? It's not gaslighting. It's facts. Everybody's getting their percentage off of the $1 million. Where do you think you're at now? You have yet to hire a soul. You have yet to hire anybody. Now you're hiring people. Now you're buying more cameras, right? You're just buying shit, right? Where do you think you're at now in your $1 million? I'm asking all of you who have so much to say. All of you that think that I am out here being a scumbucket, I'm asking you what is left of your $1 million.
Well, before you start talking, Joe, let's go through those numbers. We'll have to break down every single thing in there. It depends on who's getting the $1 million and who's in charge of paying everybody out of the $1 million, Joe. Now, if their job is to pay some of the cameramen and everybody else out of their money, then of course. No, that's for ants. Out here, you're going to have ants a lot. So I want to make sure ants aren't just popping up everywhere they shouldn't. Now, granted, Joe was saying right here, what would you be left with? You're going to be left with about maybe a little bit about 500,000. Depends on who's paying what. Now, if Joe had $1 million, and let's say he paid taxes and he had to pay the cameraman, he had to pay other people. He's not making a lot of money out of it. He'll be left with roughly, depends on what he's paying people. See, we don't know that. It's very vague. But he's trying to run misdirection here. So let's continue.
Everybody's quiet. Everybody's quiet. Got it. Let's say you got 350 left. Let's say it's 350 left. There's nobody adding anything. This is real simple math. If there's 350 left and you get a percentage of that, then what do you have? Not a lot, right? Not a lot. When you do it that way, right, you see how many millions of dollars need to be generated net, not gross, for everybody to eat properly. For everybody to eat properly. It's really just that simple. This is not complicated. It's not difficult. You can say 400 grand. You can put it at 400. You can put it at 350. The point is, it's low every $1 million. So now you can be angry at that, or you could get to work. You could be mad at it. The game is the game. I didn't make these rules. They're not mine. They're not my rules. You can be mad at it, or we can get to work. It's really just that simple. Joe, do you believe this is the best way you all should have handled this? Hey, no, man, but I mean, you're dealing with 3 niggas with pride and ego and communication issues. Nah, this ain't been handled the best at all. It's been a mess, but when you're in the job of content, you lean into the mess. You lean into the mess. You don't avoid it. In the job of content, you take the good with the bad. Were they shown what they should have been shown on time? Yeah, they didn't like it. They didn't like it. That's it, man. And they said that. They made that clear. No, even though it seems like I'm talking to a wall, it's important to use this as a teachable moment. If you think that I had to steal from either one of those gentlemen or fudge books, y'all nasty. Y'all nasty. A lot apologies need to be made, I guess. Yeah, probably just a bad failure of communication. They didn't say you stole, Joe. I know they didn't say that I stole, but they have a severe misunderstanding of whatever it is that they signed. And they can't get the understanding from me because they don't trust me. They have to go talk to somebody that they trust. And unfortunately, that person is a lawyer. A lot of lawyer games being played. People can
hit the like button, people. Hit the like button. So to bring us to where we are now, what Joe is talking about at this moment. Joe is trying to say that they were shown financials, but they didn't like what they saw. That's what Joe's trying to say. They were shown financials, but didn't like what they saw. And that they received them on time. More lies by Joe. That's not what they said. They said when they asked for them and then they got them, it was on an Excel spreadsheet. Joe has completely skipped over all of that.
seem to be a lot of lawyer games being played. I'm sure.
Now he's blaming lawyers.
And I know they said they don't think I stole. I know. You are not for the creators, clearly. Anybody that signs to my network retains ownership. Any of the new signees, anyway. Even the way they trusted you for 6 years, well, it's hard when you're young, curves, blah, blah, blah. No. If they take me, there's no legal action to take, gentlemen, because I've fully complied with our contractual obligations. There is no legal action to take. I have complied. You just do not like it, and you're angered by it. And I get that. And you don't want to do this shit no more. It's fine. Fuck. What is profit sharing, Joe? Do we want to have this conversation? I've been trying not to have that conversation. So, I don't know. Here's the place to have that conversation on Instagram. I know they said what they said, but it's not true. And I, as the business owner, can't get on the internet and just start talking about people's contracts. It's not professional. It's not professional. It don't send the right message to the future people that may want to work. You don't do that. Yes, let's have it. You really ruined something good. So what? Get over it. So what? Get over it. Man, more podcasts. Go find one. We'll be able to sit down with them again and try to understand. Oh, we sat down a bunch, and I think I understand. And in watching the video, I understand even further. Those brothers they've been unhappy with the way shit has been running for a few years, it seems. And I was the last to know. But if you're unhappy, you should do something different. I'm not trying to be a dick. You shouldn't continue to be somewhere where you're not happy with the situation. I may have handled it wrong, but man, you can't do that. And you can't attack your man because you're mad at the situation. You can't do that. They are entitled to the books if they have a percentage-based contract. They're not entitled to the books if the contract says they're not entitled to the books, sir.
Did you just hear that? Did you just hear what Joe Budden just said? Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button. He said they have a percentage deal, but in the contracts, it says they cannot look at the books. What? How are they going to know what they're getting paid? You just going to tell them? Woo! What was that?
I know that you are a literal attorney. I know that you got a lot of living room degrees, but there are words in contracts.
Oh, look at Joe trying to take a shot at me. Go ahead, Joe.
Oh man,
I got a living room degree.
Scream like a kid. Well, yeah. Come on, let's talk. Rory says that he had a meeting with Elliot. To discuss the title, and he called and told me about it, and I screamed on him. He's absolutely right. I screamed on him. He was totally out of place. He should not have done that. I had already been having discussions with title. I named the number. They weren't the fondest of it. And here goes Rory to sit down and talk to Elliot, but he doesn't own it, and he doesn't know how much it's costing to run these things, and he don't know what type of money I'm going to take. So I 100% said to Rory, please do not do that again. Please do not be used as a pawn when people are trying to do their negotiating tricks. I've already spoken to them. I said a number. That's true. And when I came back to say, hey, we have a title deal, it's because Hove called, not because you sat with Elliot. It's because the highest person in the food chain called and said, this is how I feel, present it to your guys. So that's what I did. And you guys wanted to take that title deal. That title deal was for $40,000 a month. $40,000 a month is what that deal was for, with no information being given. Y'all wanted to take it. I said no. We should not take it. We didn't take it. That was smart. Sorry. That just makes sense. I'm sorry that you didn't understand that. But it made sense. The whole point is that number. It's never about the number, you guys. It's always about the terms. Yeah, you should have said no to the 40 ball. Philly, of course I should have said no to the 40 ball. 40 grand a month for the hottest podcast in the world. We all hold ventures, but that's not how we go do business.
That's Hove. Yeah.
I'm sorry that he took that as me barking on him and little growing him and dismissing him and gaslighting him. It was just right business. If they run fast, what you got in that cup? You should just pod along. I'm not gonna pod along, but pod with the people.
Somebody said, when did you start wearing a myriad hats?
That are happy with the way business has been ran with the pod. So you think Elliot thinks Rory is a pawn? No, I don't think that. That's just normal business practice. If you have something that I want to be a part of, we're negotiating, and I come meet with you, and you say one thing, maybe I'll try to meet with somebody else and get some more information. That's very normal. Elliot is the guy, man. You kidding me? Elliot is amazing. I just didn't want to set it in false impression. He said you went off because he brought it up. Well, yeah, I went off because you were out of line and out of place. And you had no business meeting with Elliot and me finding out as the owner after the fact. That is wrong. We're running a business. Clearly should communicate those situations in real time. I thought I did. That's the problem. Joe, no one wants to hear parts as much as he be talking. Well, it's his house, it's his equipment, it's his audio. He talking. What you want me to do, man? Who cares? Keep the guests coming. You can't say it's about money when they willingly gave up their Patreon checks. Let's address that. Our Patreon deal started in February. My Patreon deal started in February.
See that? I said our Patreon deal, then he switched it to my Patreon deal. Now, you're basing your deal, that's like, let me tell you something. That would be like me getting a deal based on my StreamYards I do with Nick, T, HD, and everybody else. If I use that as my basis to go get deals everywhere, HD, Nick, T, everybody involved should get a piece of that. Joe don't understand that. Joe don't understand that. Joe think it's him. Joe, you didn't get a Patreon deal because of Joe Budden. You got it because of the Joe Budden podcast. Joe didn't get a Spotify deal because of Joe Budden. He got it because of the Joe Budden podcast. So everything you got is because of the podcast, but you're getting it as an individual. Don't work that way. So of course he had to cut them checks because you have to pay them for visuals. And the audio. You know that was going to happen, Joe. Stop.
And was on the rocks that whole year. We had an entire team and staff and bills and balances that needed to be paid for the whole 3 years. Why would either one of them think that in February giving up a check from y'all is helping anything? I'm the network. I'm not asking the people that work for the company to give up their check for the people that work for the company. If you were going to do that, you should have been doing that. You should have been doing that. Now's not the time. Now's not the time, and that's not your place. It's my responsibility to make sure everybody gets paid here, including you, gentlemen. It's not y'all's responsibility to relinquish a check for people that are receiving a check. It doesn't work like that. Sorry. There's parts get a raise now. Everybody gets a raise now. Everybody gets a raise. Come on, what else y'all got?
Now, what other people choose to do with their money is their business. So if they wanted to give their monies to the rest of the people there, Joe knows that makes them look bad. What Rory and Mal brought up was guys felt like they were overworked and underpaid that worked there. And he's right. It's very expensive to run a place or platform or whatever. And this is why most Blacks don't own businesses. Though they don't own their part of distribution because it's very expensive. Joe miscalculated how expensive it was. And everybody thought Joe's on Spotify, they've made it. But let's go ahead and see what's going on.
Come on, where are the living room attorneys? That's nasty. Imagine trying to sell the franchise of the place. They say they don't work for you. Let's address it. Let's get to that right there. Because I think that's a real big problem, the ego and the pride and the male emotions and the male communication and shit like that.
Let's hear it, Joe. Hit the like button, people. What y'all doing?
Maybe they don't.
Maybe they don't.
That's a hurtful thing to say to someone that has struggled with a pill addiction. Now let's talk about that. They don't work for you. This is the wording in the contract. And they'll have to go speak to their attorneys about this.
Okay, let's hear it, Joe.
Oh, no, this is not the wording in the contract. You're not going to catch me like that.
Okay, what we're going to do?
Me because I'm divulging personal information. This is what the contract says. It doesn't say that they are profit participants of the podcast. These are facts, living room lawyers. It doesn't say that they're profit participants of the podcast, and I think that's what they may have thought. I don't know. But watching their video, I still don't think they know what the contract says. But it says something to the effect of they make money off of my podcast earnings net. That's very different. So,
That's the same damn thing.
it's a very different statement, sentiment. It may be tough for some people to understand.
It damn well is. That's the same damn thing. That's a percentage deal. Am I, did he just say that? That was like Rick James saying, I can never see myself grinding my feet on somebody's couch. Yeah, I remember grinding my feet. That's the same damn thing. That's an entirely different thing. See, they think they get a percentage on the podcast show. See, what they do is they get a percentage. He said they get a net off my net. They get a piece of my net. Whatever we grow, whatever happens for net, they get a piece of that. It's an entirely different thing. What the hell is he talking about? That is a percentage deal. What the hell is this man talking about? I don't think he's read the contract.
Podcast earnings net. That's very...
He said they think they get a percent of the podcast. They don't. They get a piece of the podcast net. What is he talking about? Let me take this back. Maybe I got this wrong.
But it says something to the effect of they make money off of my podcast earnings net.
They make money off your podcast earnings net. I think he needs to stop talking. His lawyer should say, stop talking. Please stop talking.
These are facts, living room lawyers. It doesn't say that they're profit.
And we living room lawyers.
And I think that's what they may have thought. I don't know. But watching their video, I still don't think they know what the contract says.
Antoine, when did we ever say gross? We've all said net. So I think we know the difference between net and gross. He didn't even say that. We're paying attention. You're slow.
But it says something to the effect of they make money off of my podcast earnings net. That's very different. It's very different.
See,
they don't work for you. This is the wording in the contract. This is the wording in the contract.
let's take this back to what he actually says he believes they think.
Why would either one of them think that in February, giving up a check from y'all is helping it?
Okay, we went past that.
Now's not the time. Now's not the time, and that's not your place. It's my responsibility to make sure everybody gets paid here, including you, gentlemen. It's not y'all's responsibility. Let's get to that right there, because I think that's a real big problem, the ego and the pride and the male emotions and the male communication and shit like that. Maybe they don't.
They don't work for you, Joe.
Maybe they don't.
They don't work for
No,
you.
not that many pills. That's a hurtful thing to say to someone that has struggled with a pill addiction. Now let's talk about that. They don't work for you. This is the wording in the contract. This is the wording in the contract, and they'll have to go speak to their attorneys about this. Well, no, this is not the wording in the contract, because you're not going to catch me like that, where you're suing me because I'm divulging personal information. This is what the contract says. It doesn't say that they are profit participants of the podcast. These are facts, living room lawyers.
You see that? They're not profiteers of the podcast. Does he not know profit? What does he mean? So he basically said they're not profiteers of the Joe Budden podcast, to only say this right after it.
It doesn't say that they're profit participants of the podcast.
There you go.
I think that's what they may have thought. I don't know. But watching their video, I still don't think they know what the contract says.
Okay.
But it says something to the effect of they make money off of my podcast earnings net. That's very different.
No, it isn't, Joe. It's the same damn thing.
Sentiment. It may be tough for some people to understand, but those words are very, very different. The end. It's not for me.
It is the same damn thing, Joe. It is a percentage off of what you've earned. That means they don't have a salary. If they don't have a salary, they're being paid on a percentage, which means they don't work for you. They're your partners. Oh my God, this is insane. Yes, we are living room lawyers. I can Google what he's saying. Yes, I could Google it if I was stupid enough and didn't understand that net equals profit. Maybe I'm sorry. I just happen to be a business owner and happen to be in business, and then so I happen to know these things. I happen to know about the cost and everything else. I'm sorry if I had to break it down for people that they would understand it a little bit clearly here. So yeah, the Olivia Dope video is already done. That's coming up after this. So I wanted to clear this up first because this was first, then the Olivia thing. So I already got the Olivia Dope video done.
Explain further. If there's any issues, get with people that you trust, not your friend. Oh, it's not difficult to understand. I thought it was difficult to understand.
No, it's not difficult to understand. The problem is the problem is, why won't you show them the books? They want to see the books for their money. That is the only discrepancy. You have talked in circles, Joe, for 20 minutes. Then you sit here and said the exact same damn thing. They're not on salary. So if they're not on salary, they are getting paid a percentage of what you gross net. Not what the net, the whole thing gross, what you get net. You've already made that very clear. They get paid off net. Boom, that's a percentage deal. They don't have a set price. They have a set percentage. So that means that number is always going to fluctuate. And for you guys out there, that's what that means.
Percentage of what I net from this work operation. And after the Spotify deal, I quickly learned that I was all wrong. I ain't never had no money, so I was all wrong in what it costs to run a business. I was wrong. It was bad.
Mm-hmm.
It was bad, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
It was costing me a lot more. It was expensive. It was expensive. So I went and I took my money from everywhere and I ran the business. My revolt money, my pull-up money, I love it, hip-hop money, YouTube money, any money. Any money I had, I came back and put it all in the business. Because if I didn't do that, niggas might be making $30,000 and $40,000 based on a contract. That ain't the thing to do. Watch your niggas make 40. That's nasty. So I never honored it. I never looked at it. I always just went above and beyond. And that's that. But I don't think they knew that. And that's where we stand in the fight. That's why the therapist said, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe she's right. They don't know that I'm going above and beyond. They don't know I'm taking money from all over the place to make sure everybody's okay. They don't know. They don't know. They're right. They don't know. But you can't look up twice a year and expect to know. That's really just the bottom line. And that's where the fight came from. The podcast don't have a deal anywhere. There's no deal. That's what I said to these brothers privately. There's no deal. There is no deal. We don't have a deal. We left Spotify. There is no deal. They can be in my pockets. It's clear. It's clear. We can talk. There is no deal. That's not a secret. There's no deal. That's it. $400,000 mistake just goes to all the things that they thought was wrong with accounting that wasn't wrong. The $400,000 mistake that's how Spotify paid out 1 year. They gave you an advance up front or a part of the money up front. And as the business owner, you have to prorate it through the year or through the 2 years. And that's what happened. And they got the accounting and saw this big $400,000 number and said, what's this? What's this? You lying? You stealing? How do you make this happen? I said, fam, we can't do this. We can't do this if y'all don't understand what this says. We can't do it. But you got a Patreon deal. Yeah. Me.
See? Me.
Y'all still rich, you bugging. Yeah, that's what I was saying. And that's where I went wrong when you working with friends. I was thinking, all right, I see what's going on. As long as everybody has a way to be a millionaire or a path to be a millionaire. That's what the fight is for with these companies. Just a path to be able to share in the benefits of what you built. You are not making sense. No, you just stupid, nigga. This makes all the sense in the world. It's very simple. It's not tough to understand. You never talk to them like that. I've had 90 million talks with these gentlemen like this. They just don't like it. They don't like it, but they won't step to the lawyer that negotiated it, that is still representing them both. They rather just attack me. But I'll take it. I love those guys. Fuck it. All relationships don't last. But everybody got to eat. You said no, it isn't. You drag them to the desk publicly and say you love them. Well, yeah. Yeah, I went through something. I had a tough day. Sorry. I've been making my mistakes publicly since I was 20 years old. Sorry that you just got here. You just got to the internet to figure out how this works. Sometimes you make a mistake publicly. Ooh, what do you do? Cancel me. Fumble up the bag. Validate your own self-joy. You don't need others. Nobody else validates my feelings. It's just important for all the living room lawyers to know how this works, because some of you out there could use some of this as a teachable moment. That's it. Any nigga that has to rob their friend to buy a myriad is a nasty nigga, man. It's disgusting. Yes, I am too old for this, which is why this is the best outcome. We can handle better and behind the scenes 100%.
Hit the like button.
Do I wish that they didn't just view everything like some type of evil action was taking place? I did. You do a lot of lying and covering your true feelings because this ain't about feelings, it's about business. Nobody's here for feelings. I got a lot of feelings. Nobody cares. So what? They don't matter. The business has to run still. I know that makes me seem like a meanie. So do you think they accused you of stealing? No, maybe not. Maybe they didn't accuse me of stealing. They just had a problem with the accounting on the way a multi-million-dollar business is being ran, which says that you think you are entitled to more. And maybe you are. And maybe that's where the fight is. They think they're entitled to more. I don't really see it. It's harsh. It's tough. I know.
Oh, now we get to something juicy. This man says they feel like they're entitled to more. I just don't feel it.
No. But I mean, the contract was only for another year. I mean, if they both said they wasn't going to re-sign it, then this shit was over in another year. Anyway. A multi-million-dollar business cannot be reflected on an Excel. Okay, but what if there is no business? Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. What if there's no business at all? What if there is no deal? What if you're not signed? What if there's no audio deal, no video deal? There's no ad, no integration. What if there's nothing? And this is why it's almost pointless to have these conversations on the internet. So I'm going to finish because you wanted to put them on salary. Yeah, that's how it works. If all you want to do is come in and talk, then you make the salary. Now, granted, it could be a really high salary, but if you have a problem with sitting behind expenses, then you should get a salary.
Joe, who goes from a percentage deal down to a salary? Where does that make sense? If the show is going up, that means their percentage is going to go up. They're attached to the success of the show. They negotiated a percentage deal. So why would they take a salary? Sure, that's better for you, which basically explains what Joe wanted to do. Put them on salary. After the fact. So all of this was just to renegotiate. He just said it.
They got a percentage. He said it last pod. Yes, they have a percentage of Joe's net from the pod. Yes, they do. That is true. Call a lawyer and figure out what it means. If you played yourself as a person, they've been saying that for 20 years. Everything looks gorgeous out right now. All right, I'm getting off. Did you give up Spotify deal?
No, he just said they had a percentage deal.
Embracing proof on the surface as far as money in business sounds harsh, but I get what you're saying. You was making up numbers, man. Oh my God, shut up. What we're not gonna do is come in here and just start spilling the numbers. Good shit. Grab a calculator, grab your contract, do math. It's very simple. You honestly should only have a guest host. Thank you, Dre. We're gonna look into all of that. We're gonna look into guest hosts. We're gonna look into rotating hosts. We're gonna look into no hosts. We're just gonna look into things. This is the time to experiment, try different things, and embrace whatever the universe is doing. This is going to ruin your day, King. No, it's not. Oh, Jesus. I don't want to say that. It seems like I'm gaslighting. I'm dismissing. It's not going to ruin the day. Oh, y'all be smooth. Y'all be easy. I'm even leave this video up for a little while. I won't just delete it so y'all can look at it. Pray for everybody involved. it's your boy with a dub. I know. Who cares? Who cares?
See? Who cares? Hit the like button, baby. That's what I'm saying. This is a clear indication of everything that Rory and Mal said. Joe is delusional. He believes that the whole show is based on him. My what did you say? My Patreon deal. My Patreon deal. Joe, you based a Patreon deal off of the podcast that those two are on. You guys are partners. So they had to get paid. They negotiated a deal and they said it. Visuals are a part of that. In their contract, they had to negotiate visuals because you decided to build your YouTube channel up, which you already had stuff on your YouTube channel. You decided to put the podcast on there, on the Joe Budden YouTube channel, instead of making the Joe Budden podcast and making it its own YouTube channel, so that way everybody shared in the revenue. No, he put it on the Joe Budden. And they felt like, whoa, wait a minute. We should get paid off that. We're partners of the podcast. Of the podcast. But if you want to use footage, go and start your own YouTube channel and use it. I would have just did that. But I see what they're doing. And I see where Mal's point is like we're percentage partners. So we're not just like homeboys there. You're using our visuals. So now that they have a contract in place that has visuals added to it, they have to get paid. So the Patreon money has to be split and they have to get a cut of that. That's why he had to send them checks. Ian had to cut them checks. Like, we got to cut them checks. Joe don't like that. Joe never wanted to cut them into the Patreon. He want to keep all the money and pay people what he think they should get paid. They feel like they're entitled to more. I don't agree. It's not about what you agree. They have a percentage deal. So if the show goes up, they're gonna make more money. Whether you agree or don't agree. It is really simple. Joe Budden is an idiot. That is the equal conclusion. This is the biggest idiot in the whole business. He knows how to draw the people in, and he knows how to blow things right up. I have told people this. They don't listen. I keep telling people over and over again, Joe Budden is his biggest enemy. Joe Budden's biggest enemy is Joe Budden. The end of the day, it was very simple. All he had to do was show the books. That's it. Show the books, Joe. That's all you got to do. The percentage can stay the same. If the show makes more money, you're going to get more money. You don't have a set price. If the show starts to decline, you're going to make less money. So they're taking the risk rather than being a salary. But he knows the podcast is heading upwards. And they're going to be making a lot of money. And it's a Joe, it was about money. He kept saying, like, It wasn't about money. They were saying like, this is just like we want to see the books. Which is true. I knew exactly what they got paid. I told you all on the Patreon what they got paid. Now, what I was saying was different. I'm saying these dudes should have left if their contracts was bogus and would say something as stupid as, we don't have to see the books. You have to have a list of accounting to show how you get paid. So if you get paid off Joe Budden's net of what the podcast makes net, you have to know all the money that's coming into the podcast. It's common sense. It's the law and it's common sense. Now, if somebody sends you an Excel spreadsheet, that's not the accounts, that's not the numbers. And anybody else could tell you, like, hey, this is not right. Anybody could just make this up and send it to you. Now, my thing is, okay, if this is correct, then you got to show the money coming in that shows that this is correct. Joe don't want to be audited because he knows he's taking money from here to there to there to there to try to make up and cover for things that he screwed up on. So that's where he's at right now. So their contract was up for one more year, and the contract was up. So when the contract is up for the year, then they were going to go on salary, which they were never going to do. So he was going to replace them in a year anyway. So he just saved himself a year paying money. Joe's happy now because now he gets to do what he wants to do. He ain't got to pay Rory and Mal. That's all he wanted to do, was get out of the contract. But if he think that they're not going to go and want to look at those books and have him audited, he's mistaken. They're going to do that now. Oh, 100%. So don't forget to hit the like button. Y'all want to support the page? My Cash App is Carcino. Joe said there is no business. There is no business no more. We left. We left Spotify, so there is no more deal. They was like, okay, well, let's see the deals from going back 2 years with Spotify. We want to see them. That's over. It's done. People still want to see their numbers. You see that? That's over with. That's done. No, get them numbers up, shorty. The Olivia Pope, the video's coming up. We already got it uploaded. It's ready to fly. Exactly, Solo. Oh man, on the Patreon today, it's gonna get even more explosive. Today is your day. That's all I'm gonna say. Today is your damn day to be on Patreon today. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Think you're gonna like today. You're gonna like it a lot. This whole thing was just distraction for me getting back to what I was doing on the Patreon. But yep, you're gonna have fun today. Yeah, Mac Miller, Mizzle, we don't have a contract. Oh man, I'm out.